Hello and welcome. My name's Emma.
My name's Tracey.
And we are
Curly Seams.
We managed to get it together that time.
We did. Well, I think we did. Not sure.
Well, closer than we have done for a while anyway.
The only thing we haven't got together recently.
Together. No, do you know, I was thinking actually, I think we might be sort of at a point where we possibly could
get together. I think we could possibly, yes.
Yeah, I think so. But
hopefully it will be our last Zoom call.
Yes, so we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But I think so.
Yeah. So this is episode 21. 2?
I thought, or is it 22?
You know what? I don't actually know.
Oh God. It's going to be one of those episodes, I can see it now.
But anyway, we're in the 20s and welcome to everybody who has just joined us for the first time. And we have had a few new subscribers, so thank you very much for joining us.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you to everybody that's returned. So it's really nice to see you, and we hope you enjoy this podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, quilting and sewing. Not necessarily in those orders.
She's done a roll today, isn't she?
No, not really. I said that all wrong, but okay.
Sounded all right to me. Sounded okay.
I haven't been used to speaking to anybody for the last couple of weeks. I've been on my own again, back in the studio. So got to get the voice muscles going.
Yes, we were just doing a bit of facial yoga before we started, just to get everything up and running.
And I get those jowls. Do you know what? That's the thing I hate. I don't mind getting old, but I hate this.
Yeah. Tracey's well known for her gurning impressions.
I can go for England if you like. Yeah.
But yeah, we both feel we could do with a little bit of a tuck here.
Yeah, that's it. But it takes years off you. Look at that. Look.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And I was saying that I've got droopy eyelids as well, so I could do with a little bit taking out my eyelids as well. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, it doesn't worry me though. Does it really? It doesn't worry me at all, to be honest.
I don't think it worries me enough to do anything about it. No, moving on. So we're going to start today with finishes.
Yes, we're going to try and get some order to our podcast. So we've got a few finishes, not many, but a few finishes.
All right. Would you like to go first then?
Well, I can do. We can. Or
she's going to ruin my plan now, isn't she?
Well, there is something we both did. Are we leaving that till the end? The challenge from last time around, or
no? We can do that now if you like.
Let's do that now. Okay, we'll get that one done.
Okay.
So in the last podcast, Emma challenged or asked if I wanted to take part in a challenge, except the challenge didn't have any time limit on it.
Yes, but if you watch that episode, you will notice that I did say to Tracey, you don't have to have it done in a weekend.
Well, it was done that night, but yeah, there we go. So it was a hat, wasn't it? So
it was the Beanie Hat by Benjamin Matthews.
Benjamin Matthews, yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, inspired by we were inspired to knit it by Aaron off Fibre Hustle. So
yes. Yes, he's been doing some lovely knits, hasn't he, at the moment, Aaron? So I really love it.
So yes, I challenged Tracey, and I did jokingly say to her it didn't need to be done by the end of the weekend. So on the Sunday of that weekend, that was the Friday, on the Sunday, I got this little video from her.
Morning Curly 1, it's Curly 2 here, demonstrating the latest make. Little bit big, I would say. Here I am, no filters, no makeup. It's actually midday and I'm still on top of pyjamas either because I was doing this. Because she challenged me. Look. Anyway, it's done. So it is big. I think this is a men's hat anyway, isn't it, to be honest? But it's too big. Anyway, here it is in all its glory. Just so you know what I did, I used drop snapple, which is 65% wool, 35% alpaca. It is colour number 7238. I used a 4mm needle for the twisted rib hemi bit thing. What do they call this bit? I don't know, whatever that bit's called. And then the body of the hat was done in a 5mm, which is what they suggest in the pattern, although it's in US size needle, so it just did the conversion for that. I think it's it's obviously too long in the hat, isn't it? It's too long. But to get the full 3 repeats in, I would have to drop down to possibly a 4, or may even stop on the same size needle. Just keep it a 4mm all the way through, because it fits nice. Actually, the ribbon is lovely. I like the ribbon. It's come up nice, and that twisted rib's really beautiful. I had a little bit of a problem with, I can't see in reverse. I don't know if it's this point or this intersection. I kept forgetting. I put one extra row in each time, I think. I'm not sure if I did or not, but anyway, I'm not really bothered about it. If I put an extra row in, that's obviously going to account for the fact it's a bit longer. But it fits a man's head quite well. But I think I would drop down a size to make it a bit snugger. So anyway, there you go. That's my review of it. And I think, what's this called? The Rios Beanie by, I want to say Benjamin Matthews, but I don't know if that's right. Anyway, challenge completed. Where's yours?
So when Tracey sent me that video, this is a picture of how far I'd actually got with mine.
Oh dear.
So I was a little bit behind her, as usual. So come on then, let's see yours.
Well, this was the first one. This was the green one.
Because she's made more than one.
I did make more than one because I didn't like this one particularly. Can you actually see? It's a lovely pattern, isn't it?
That's a lovely colour as well. I really like it.
But anyway, it was knit as per pattern, and mine came out a little bit. Well, first of all, I think this is the man's hat. It was too big for me. It fits my husband perfectly fine. Yeah. But it was really quick knit. Didn't take long to do. Although I did have, I had to really think about where I was in the pattern sequence.
Yeah. Yes, especially sort of at the little point of the triangle.
Yes, because I think on that bit you kind of repeat one line twice. This one is just one line and then you go off again. Yeah. And I kept getting wrong at that point. So, but anyway, it was a nice simple knit. I do like the wool. It was from Stash. I haven't blocked it or anything. I did get a quick steam, and I did 3 repeats. So it was as per pattern, that was. So you've got 3 little triangle sections there, and then I thought I quite liked the crown. It was nice and simple, that crown, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But I kept losing my place because the pattern doesn't really tell you to put any
markers. And no markers.
No. So I did actually learn very quickly to read my knitting.
Okay.
So I could see where I was, which was a miracle for me, to be honest. So yeah. So that was mine. So where's yours?
Okay, so mine was done out of it was out of Stash, and it was artisano.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it was it's a 50% alpaca and 50% wool, which I'm not sure if it was the right choice or not, but it was really nice. It's a lovely colour. It's looking a bit red there, but it is more orange.
Yeah.
Now I of course had the benefit that Tracey had already knit hers by the time I was doing mine, so I actually changed mine slightly because I think you started on a 4 and you were supposed to go up to a 5. Yes. And Tracey then said that she thought it might be better if you stayed on the 4. So I stayed on the 4 all the way through, and I only did there's 2 full triangles. Triangles. Tracey then went on and did another sort of half one in hers. I stayed with the 2, and
that fits you better.
Yeah. That fits. I will put it on. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Looks great with my glasses.
As well.
Put that in the wrong way, actually. It needs to go in the back. So it looks a bit like a Benny Hill hat to me. But and there'll be loads of you out there who have no idea who Benny Hill is.
knows who Benny Hill is. Really popular in America.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's very politically
No, he's not
correct.
particularly PC here anymore. No.
No. Or who was the other guy? Who was the other guy out of Crossroads?
Oh, that was Benny. Yeah.
That was a Benny as well, wasn't it?
Miss Diane. Miss Diane.
Yeah.
You're right, Miss Diane.
He was a Benny, wasn't he? And that's who I was thinking actually. But it's ever so warm. It's so toasty. And I really liked it. I really liked this grip. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really liked it. Now, as you would expect, there was a little story behind mine. I did finish it. And then right at the very end, it asks you to, you've got, so many stitches left. It asks you to put that on and pull it tight so that it forms your centre of your hat. Well, I threaded the stitches through my needle and then pulled it tight. And then this great big hole appeared. I'd obviously dropped a stitch somewhere. And it all started to unravel down the hat. And I ended up with this great big hole in the middle. And I thought, right, okay, that's fine. I'll just pick everything back up and work my way through it again. Only, then I got myself in a right tizzy. And I ended up throwing it across the living room floor on the Sunday evening. And I had to message Maureen and say, Maureen, are you home tomorrow? Can I come round, please? And she actually managed to take it back for me and sort it out and really decided what I'd done wrong. And the plan was that she was going to put the stitches back on, she was going to give it back to me, and I was going to finish it again so that I could do it properly. Only she got so carried away that, bless her heart, she actually finished the hat for me.
Oh, that's nice of her. That's nice. It's a beautiful hat. I love the colour of it.
Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, it's nice. So
you've obviously gone on and done another one.
I have gone on. I did a grey one for one of the boys.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
This is done with 4mm needles all the way through. Let me see if I can do a comparison. So there is a fairly significant. It's difficult to see on the crown, but probably about an inch difference.
Yeah.
And I think I personally think it's nice. That's just noticed it's got a little hole. Oh, I haven't. No, that's right. I had a hole there.
No holes.
Anyway, so that's and I like the colour as well. This one as well.
Yeah, that looks lovely.
It shows the pattern definition really well. I did do the 3 again, and I think this was again. Husband tried this on and tried to claim it, and then I whipped it back off. I think you're having 2. You're not having 2. That's it. 1 is enough. You have 1 head. You only need 1 hat. Quite right too.
So okay, what else have you got finish wise then?
So finishes. Well, I did a few things. They're not complicated things. I did loads more napkins and things, So actually, I'll show you the fabric.
Oh, I like that fabric. That one
on the top.
Yeah, the brownie one.
Yeah, I got that from the charity shop.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's right up my alley. That is, because it's kind of like a 60s/70s print.
Very nice.
And I had enough to do 4 napkins, and then I did like a table centre. So only single fabric. I've not quilted it or anything. I've just left it as a. In fact, it's just like a centre table.
Yeah, very pretty.
So, I got that in 4 napkins. I thought that was quite nice, and I was going to put that in my Christmas box, but I actually really like the fabric, so I think we'll have that. So that will be fun. And then I kind of like this one too. This fabric I think is lovely. I think this was a Moda.
Oh yes, that's very nice.
That's kind of got like an Art Deco-ish kind of feel to me.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I love that green. I love that green in there though.
Which one?
The greens. I love the greens.
That's it, yeah. More funky pyjamas. So a couple of paisleys, 1 light, 1 dark.
Wow, very nice.
And then I did a funky Christmas.
You said that word.
I did. So these are Christmas Jim Jams. So again, using the Alice & Co. Whitechapel pyjama pattern, which I really like. So I think this one, if I was wearing mine the other day, and I was thinking I need to make 1 final adjustment to mine. I just need to take a little bit more out the back rise, which I'll do just a 1/2 inch, and it'll be less baggy around the back.
Okay, because we don't like a baggy
With
bottom.
pyjamas, you do want extra though, don't you? So you can sort of cuddle up on the sofa and whatever. So
Yeah.
a little finish, because I put a binding on this quilt. It had already been quilted. I'd been waiting for the binding to go on. I'll stand up and show you.
Yep.
So I used my time wisely. So I was sat in my pyjamas, watching Suits and stitching away. So
you can do it without feeling too guilty.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
It's only plain. It's actually a charm pack.
Yeah.
It's a charm pack in the centre, which I cut into a rectangle. So although the blocks look square, they're actually very mildly rectangular. So it is a rectangle shape overall.
Oh, right. Okay, then. I don't know about you. I prefer a rectangle to a square anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it was a Moda charm pack centre.
Yeah.
So they're all different. So how many in a? Is it 40?
It's 42 usually, I think, in a charm pack.
So, and I don't remember what charm pack this was. It's an old one.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, it was made a long time ago. And then I put 2 coners around the outside. No, there's 3 Kona colours in it.
Yeah.
There's I believe this is oyster. This light colour is called oyster.
And the green.
I want to say cactus, but I could be wrong there.
Okay, and you've quilted it in.
And I've quilted it with a. Can you see this quilt?
I don't know why I'm sat peering like this, because it makes no sense. Oh yes, now I can see. Right.
Yeah. So it's an overall pattern called Star Mosaic.
Right. Okay. And the wadding.
Matilda's Own, my favourite.
Okay.
So, which I love.
Okay.
So it's not. It's
right. You can sit and watch telly and not feel quite so guilty if you're doing something, can't you?
Well, yeah, because I don't like doing bindings by machine. So I mean, I sew them on by machine to the front, and then I turn them and hand sew them to the back. So I have tried machine sewing, and I end up like tacking it before I machine sew it, which is
the object. Yeah.
But it's because I never get good results. So our friend Laura in Ireland, she always gets brilliant results, and
you rave about it, don't you, Laura?
She does really, really well. So, and I have tried, but it's not a method I can get on with, I'm afraid.
No, nor me. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I did that one. So that's enough. Do you want to, have you got to finish, by the way? Do you want to show a finish?
Have you got more, or are you?
I do have more.
You going to let me speak or not?
No,
I'm joking. Go on. If you've got more, keep going.
I do have. So this one I quilted and bound as well. So this is completely finished. So it's only a little laptop one.
Oh, that's very pink.
Very pink. Completely scrappy. Some old fabrics in there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to do 2 colours. You know, essentially it's monochromatic with pink and the red, but lots of them.
Very nice. Looks lovely though.
But what I really wanted to do was to. Now I don't know if you can see the quilting. Can you see the quilting? Can you see the? It's only a cross hatch.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
But I've seen that quite a lot on a few feeds now, where they do the cross-hatched quilting, and I've never actually tried doing a whole quilt myself with a cross-hatch. I thought, yeah, I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
So I did. So but of course I didn't do it by hand. I digitized it.
Of course, I'd expect nothing else from you.
No. So I did digitize it, and what I was really testing, to be honest, was how accurate it would be. You do 1 row of crosshatch.
Yeah.
And it's in blocks like this kind of size.
And roll it on.
And so it's 1 block, repeat. So it's got to match down this way.
Yeah.
Then you roll on, and you've got to get more matched across the horizontal. And I was unsure whether it would actually be accurate enough to look good. So I thought, well, I'll stick it on this quilt and give it a go.
And how did it go?
Your eye, it's not accurate in some places, but your eye thinks it is.
Okay, so you can get away with it.
Definitely get away with it. And so I would, if anyone wants to look at it, you've got to look at it for a long time to see where things don't match.
Yeah.
So overall, it's something I would do again. I possibly would limit it on the size of quilt I was doing, because the more you quilt, it becomes slightly more inaccurate. It's a tiny amount, a very tiny amount, it becomes less accurate. But I mean, it builds up over with the more yardage of thread you put in.
Yeah, so it compounds it.
So so either that, or I would think about, instead of having it in chunks like this, I would make the pattern so that it's one whole row.
Yeah.
So the mismatch, if there was going to be any, would be from row to row as opposed to within the row.
Yeah. Very good. Well, you've been very productive, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
I have. So I've done a bit of dressmaking, to be honest. So
Background.
yeah. So this was my first finish. So this is a Stevie top by Tilly and the Buttons.
I love it. That's fabric, gorgeous.
Yes, the fabric is by Alison Glass, and I've had it in the cupboard for quite a while, and I've been wanting to use it, but I didn't have very much, which is why it was a Stevie, because it's got grown on sleeves, so it limits how much fabric that you
Wow. That's a brilliant use of that fabric, though, isn't it?
Well, yes, hopefully. Now, as you'd expect, I had a few issues, and Tracey knows about this, because the pattern, it called for a facing around, it has a facing band round the neck, and when I put the facing on and then turned it over, the fabric is so sheer that you could actually see through the top fabric where I clipped into the curve when I turned it over. So then I thought, well, I'll do 2 rows of stitching over it just to disguise it, which I did. But then I put it on, and because it is quite sheer, I have to wear a camisole underneath. So you have the camisole, and then you have this great big band of interfacing that sat round here. It was like a collar. It looked awful, absolutely awful. And I've got some photos, so I will put some pictures up. So in the end, I took the facing off, and then I just did a very simple.
That looks nice.
Yeah, a very simple binding around the neckline, and I think that works actually. Then we got a delivery of fabric at work, which is this.
Ooh, that's nice.
Very sort of Liberty looking.
How do you say Liberty? No,
it's not Liberty. It's a cotton lawn, but it's not Liberty.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember who it's by actually. I wonder if it says on there. Oh yeah, it does. Digital Flower Collection. Oh, that's all it says. Okay, anyway. So with that, I made, this is the new pattern by Sew House 7. This is the Remy Raglan.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Yeah, so it's a nice, quick make. It's quite boxy. I did lengthen it a couple of inches because I always find they're a bit too short. So it's got a couple of inches length. I don't know if you can see, it's got a little button fastener there. And the pattern comes with a short sleeve or a 3/4 length sleeve option as well.
That's very nice. That's really lovely, that is. Yeah.
And it's nice because all the seams they're all French seamed.
You did the French seams?
I did.
Wow.
So it was a really quick, easy little make actually. And I actually wore this. I wore this to work on Wednesday, and I sold 2 lots of fabric, and 3 people wanted to know which pattern it was. So it obviously looked okay. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How did you find the French seams?
Fine, actually. Yes, it was because it is very simple. It's literally sewn, from the sleeve right the way down to the waist to the hemline.
But why would you do a French seam when you've got an overlocker?
Well, perhaps they put it on in case you didn't have an overlocker. I don't know.
But you have an overlocker.
I have an overlocker, but I did it as per the pattern, so I was being good.
Were you?
Next time I might use the overlocker, all right? But I followed the pattern for this one for a change. So I can see that you have another finish behind you, though.
I do have a finish behind me, which is very similar to the one that's on your frame.
Now, this is this is the Libs Elliot Rebel quilt that we made. How many years ago?
Oh, I want to say at least 4.
Yeah, I think it must be about that actually. We didn't make it together, did we? We did it.
No, we bought the patterns.
I think it was another little challenge thing, wasn't it?
Possibly. I don't completely remember. I know that we both saw it because I don't currently follow Libs Elliot on Instagram, but I remember seeing it on her feed and commenting and you commented as well, and we said, well, we should make it.
Yes. And
then she had a special on that, and I think you could buy 3 patterns at the same time. Can't remember now. There was an offer going, and we decided to take advantage of that. I don't know what I did with the other 2 patterns, I'll be honest.
I don't think I have any other. I think I maybe just bought that one pattern. So
yeah, but we but I was saying to Emma, it's interesting because if you look, Emma's gone teal and green, and I've gone orange again, which seems to be my go-to colour. So but they're great. I love that pop of yellow in yours.
Yeah, you see, I prefer yours. It's funny, isn't it? It's
Is that the Kona highlighter yellow?
Possibly.
Yeah, because that probably would give us a clue as to when we did it, because that was colour of the year with Kona for a while, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? In fact, I think I've still got. In fact, that must have been Pasadena Quilt Con.
Oh, so that, yeah, it must be 4 years ago then.
Yeah. Because I think I've still got. I think they were giving out little swatches of it as samples.
Yes. Yeah, no, that is definitely that. Yeah, so I mean, my colours are mostly Konas, but that background, which is like it's actually a brown colour. It's coming out grey on the screen. I don't know if
it looks grey from here.
Yeah, it's well, it is a grey, but it's got a brown undertone to it, so it's a brown grey, and that is a Jason Yenter in the beginning fabric called Modern Solids. Now, I was looking for those this morning. I don't think you can get them anymore, but they're a shot cotton.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Really, really nice. So you've got that little bit of tonality within the fabric itself, you know, so it's very nice. But I chose those colours. I brought it in because I wanted it to go with this.
Oh! Is that?
So that's a fabric. That's the fabric that cushions I've got. Well, I've got one chair made covered with this.
Yes.
And so this was the colour inspiration for the quilt.
It's really good though, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's not bad, is it really? So that is going to be used in the house. So it's going to be. But I actually quite like it hanging up, but I've got nowhere to hang it now. My walls are full.
Oh, what a shame. No, it looks beautiful hung like that. And what's the pattern that you've quilted that in?
This is a new pattern I got the other week. Actually, it's called Malachite pattern through Urban Elements, and a couple of other places have it, I believe. But you can also buy the paper pattern. Now, with the paper pattern, you can either buy that as a PDF that you stick together yourself, or you can buy it as a roll pattern. And I believe that they do a resizing option. So with the digital option, you can change the size of the pattern to suit your quilt.
Yeah.
And you want to choose a size that makes sure that it's in relation to the size of the piecing. With paper patterns that come at, say, 12 inches standard height, if you put a large pattern over small piecing, it doesn't always look right.
Yeah.
So like the quilt I showed last podcast, I pushed the sides of the quilting really, really large. And to be honest, it was too large in comparison to the quilt piecing. So it should have come smaller, but I just wanted to get it done and out of the way. But when you're doing a paper pattern, you are limited by the size of your throat, and people tend to fill up that throat space with, as big a pattern as they can get in there.
Yeah.
If you wanted to resize it, it's quite difficult to do on your own, but I mean, obviously you can do it by just resizing the PDF and printing it out yourself at home. But they do a version of they will resize the paper pattern for you as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lovely pattern though. I do like it very much.
Yeah, very nice.
And I actually quilted it with a variegated thread, an Aurifil variegated, which is something I haven't used for quite some while.
Yeah.
I used to love variegateds, and then went off them in a big way because I thought they were really fuddy-duddy. But I love this one.
Circle again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's got black, it's got brown, it's got cream, it's got white in it. So it's it really covers everything really well. So, but yeah, I'm very pleased. I will take a picture so you can see the quilting closer. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. And you helped me choose the binding. You and Meg helped me choose the binding.
We did.
Whether to go brown or black. So I think black looks nice. Yeah,
I think it looks nice. Yeah,
I'm chuffed.
Good.
So how are you doing with yours? Because I know you had a bit of an issue.
Yes, I finished it today, which is why it's still hanging over there. I just did wavy lines all over mine, and I just used a grey Aurifil thread on it. But I also used the Matilda's Own. I managed to get some after our last podcast. I went online and I managed to find some. If anybody wants some in the UK, you can get it from Dougherty's.
Dougherty's, yes.
And I think the Cotton Patch stock it as well, but I'm not sure how they've got stock wise at the moment. But I bought a 3 meter cup from Dougherty's, and I think it cost me, I want to say about £44, which sounds a lot, but I think that's fairly.
That actually is quite good because it's normally about £16 a metre.
Yeah, so I think it's comparable with other waddings I think that you can get. So I didn't actually think that was too bad. Now it's quite different to.
It's a more structured loft.
Yeah,
the best way to describe it. Yeah.
And it's also got a layer of scrimmer, hasn't it, on the back? Which anyway, I put it on. I started quilting, and then last Friday I sent Tracey a message, and what she doesn't know is I was practically in tears with this thing. I think
I did detect a note of frustration in your email. Yes, in your text.
It was just being hideous. It was just, my thread kept breaking. I took everything off. I cleaned everything. I dusted everything out. I oiled everything. I put new needles in. I changed the bobbin. I did everything that I could possibly think of, and nothing seemed to be working. And I put a picture on Instagram today, actually, and I said if I could have lifted the damn thing, I would have thrown it out the window, because I was just at my end of my tether with it. I really was. So I left it for a couple of days, and then I went back, and it was still doing it. And then I think I realised what I was doing.
Right.
So it's sort of wavy lines. So from left to right run was fine, but then I was doing a right to left run.
You never told me that.
Oh. No.
And I would have told you straight away. I know exactly it was going against the hook.
I know, that's exactly it. And then I suddenly thought, you stupid woman, what are you doing? And so I finished the edge of it with no problems at all, because I was doing it right.
Okay. Well, to be honest, that probably shouldn't have happened. But what was happening, because you were probably doing it at quite some speed, I would imagine.
Well, I was. I kept telling myself to slow down. But
yeah.
The first part of the quilt was absolutely fine. I had no problems. It was only sort of around the middle that it started to play up.
Right.
And I think some of my lines are a bit out of proportion because I was so, you know, I was getting so fixated on trying to sort it and everything. But once I realised what I was doing wrong, like I say, I've quilted for 2 hours on it this morning to finish it, and I've had absolutely no problems.
And did you go up a needle size or not bother?
Yes, I went up to a 16.
Okay, all right then. So you were trying to do it on a, well, first of all, okay, so you had a 14, which is a 90 equivalent needle. And if you were zooming along, going in one direction, you'd be fine. Going back the other way, the needle would deflect because the shaft of the needle isn't stiff enough because it's too small. So, which is probably why you're getting thread breaks.
Yes.
To some extent. So going up the needle size will definitely have helped, but you're going through, Matilda's own is a thicker wadding, it's a more structured, sturdier wadding, it's got a slightly heavier scrim than some of the other 80-20, for example, that has a, the scrims on that are not as sturdy. You're using a cotton thread as well, so yeah, you've got quite a few things all coming together, and potentially you could have had your quilt sandwich a little bit too tight.
Maybe,
yeah, that would all, you need to loosen it sometimes to help, to just give the needle a chance to get through the layers and actually make that connection. But machines tend to prefer to go in one direction versus another. Okay, not all machines, now interesting, not all machines are like that. I mean, the Gamble machine only likes going in one direction. The Bernina is quite happy to go both ways most of the time, but sometimes I do get thread breaks. Now, for example, this week I got thread breaks on the Gamble, and that was because I had the top tension set too tight.
Right.
So, and I was quilting at speed as well because I was freehanding, and so the combination of too tighter tension and quilting too fast.
Right, speed, yeah.
It's something it has to give, and what gave was the thread.
Yeah.
So, but when that happens, you just got to stop and you've just got to really think through, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Have I changed anything? Okay, have I just changed the bobbin, for example? What have I done on the bobbin? Have I wound it wrong? Have I put it in the wrong way? Have I just changed the top thread? Have I got the thread path wrong?
Yeah.
Have I changed the needle? Have I got the needle? On a Bernina, you can only put the needle in one way because it's a flat back. It's like a domestic needle. On other long arms, it's a round needle. So have I got my needle actually in place correctly? So, and just change one thing at a time when you're trying to work out what you've done wrong. Don't do everything all at the same time because you'll never fathom what it was that was causing the issue. So always think, what was the very last thing I did? And actually try and go back on that, you know.
Because that's what I was doing, and I was messaging Tracey and saying, because the wadding, my first thought was it's the wadding. I said to Tracey, have I put it on? It sounds stupid, but have I put it on the wrong way round? Because obviously there is a right way and a wrong way, and have I done it the wrong way? And
so for those that don't know, if you have a batting with a scrim, and the way to find the scrim, if you get some batting, if you peel it apart, you'll see that you've got either cotton or wool fibres on one side, and the other side will be like this mesh polyester net.
I'm trying to see if I can show you.
That scrim is there to capture all of the fibres in the manufacturing process. It's a little bit like needle felting. So yeah, if you can pull that apart, you'll be able to see the yeah. So there, look, the bit that's coming back, you can see, possibly you can see that the net, this portion is a net, and then all the wool fibres have been needle punched into that net. And it's that's called the scrim. So the scrim should always go against the backing fabric. So you don't want it you don't want it upmost, and that's the first thing the needle goes through. That's the last thing the needle needs to go through.
Yeah.
If it's the wrong way, then you'll find you've got a problem quilting in the first place, and because the needle's trying to push its way through the scrim, and then what it does, as it gets through the scrim, it takes the fibres and pushes them straight through the back of the quilt, so you'll end up with these little fibres coming out the back, out the back.
That's what you call bearding, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
And that's what I was concerned I'd done. But anyway, all's well that ends well. This is definitely one of those quilts that I'm just glad to see the back of.
Yeah. Well, get it bound. It looks beautiful from where I'm looking. So the colour combination, don't you think it's all about the colour, isn't it, in this quilt?
Yeah.
It's the play of the colours one on the other, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. So yes, it's interesting to see what it looks like when it's bound. I am thinking black.
I think black too.
So that will probably be my job over the weekend, I think, to get that trimmed up and get that bound. Have you got any works in progress?
Yeah, I've got a knitting. I've only got one knitting thing in progress at the moment, and I've got a little quilt in progress as well. So I've picked up on the. I've actually forgotten what it's called. Cardigan I was doing.
Orange one.
Elspeth cardigan.
Oh yes, I've got that book.
So that's the cardi.
Yeah.
And
West Yorkshire Spinners Croft.
Croft. Yeah, Croft. Croft Shetland tweed.
That's it.
Yeah. And I am doing it in this. Which is
very nice.
A ball of gorgeousness, as far as I'm concerned.
That's lovely. Is that TK?
No, I think it's. I've left the ball band. No, it's.
Aaron.
Well, it's thicker than double knit, but I don't think it's Aaron. This is where I don't think they call it the sport. If it is sport, I don't know. It's whatever was recommended for this. I just got what they told me to get.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm sorry, I'm useless at that. I really am sorry. But I am knitting it with what they said to do. But look, I'm on the sleeves now. I've done the front 2 panels and the back. They're done. And if you remember when I was speaking about this before, I did the left front and the right front individually. And I kept getting confused. Not confused. I was knitting, and then where you decrease and increase, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Trying to match the left with the right.
Yes.
Didn't work out because I was counting wrong or whatever, which I tend to do. I do a lot of wrong counting. I'm not very good with counting. So I'd said at the time that I thought if I was to do it again, I would probably knit them together.
Okay.
So that I was increasing or decreasing at the same point each time.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, so when I do the sleeves, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll do 2 at the same time. So that's what I've got. I've got 2 on a circular at the same time.
That's very organised.
Yeah, except I've still cocked up. I'll explain why. For some reason, it's on a circular needle only because it's a big long needle. That's all.
Yeah.
And have you ever tried? No, you probably won't have done. You can knit socks 2 at a time. Yeah, on circulars, and you kind of like knit the front and then you go around the back. So it's almost like you're doing circular knitting. Well, you are doing circular knitting, but you do the front and then you flip and you do the back. And for some reason, I'd got this in my mind that it was like a circular sock, doing a circular sock needle, knitting a sock.
Right.
I'd got like the front and then I had the back to do. So I was turning it. So what I ended up doing, I got a sleeve that was twice as long as the other. So anyway, I realised what I was doing. So now that's
this makes me feel so much better that I'm not the only numpty that does things like this.
So, well, honestly, seriously, I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, there you go. So I've mastered that bit. So that was a new skill I've learned. But I didn't understand the instructions. I got to the point. So I did the cuff and set off. That was fine. And then it came to the obviously the sleeve is knitted, no, not obviously, it's knitted from the cuff up. So you go in, so you're increasing.
Yeah.
And I read the increase instructions and I went, what? I had no clue what these instructions meant. Absolutely none.
Right.
So fortunately, we had a Zoom call with the quilt group I go to, and Sharon, if you're watching, thank you so much. I sent the instructions on WhatsApp to the WhatsApp group, and it foxed quite a few people, but Sharon worked it out for me. So
Wow.
I did explain. I have no idea what the explanation is. I'm just doing what she's telling me to do.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's easier to just do that, isn't it? I'll just do what you tell me.
But again, this is, if I don't understand it, and several other people didn't understand it.
Yeah, there's a problem there, isn't there?
I mean, obviously I know I'm.
Have you looked on their website? Because I did a jumper out of that. That was my first jumper that I knit. And there was a pattern errata actually on the website, because I was reading it and I could not figure out it. I sat there for a whole night looking at it and I thought, this just does not make sense at all. And in the end, I went onto their website by sheer fluke, I think, and they have pattern errata on there for that book.
I don't know. This isn't an errata. It's a simple. What they've done, they've taken the instructions for 5 sizes, as they do, and what they've done, they've worked out that as each size gets, for each size, they've tried to simplify the instructions so that they only have to write a small paragraph instead of writing multiple paragraphs for each size. And I do understand what they've done, but I just don't understand why they do it. Well, obviously I do. No, I do understand, because that's all they've got available. But they could ditch the picture.
Yeah.
And make the instructions. I mean, a third of the page is picture.
Yeah.
So why don't they ditch that and just put more clear instructions?
Yeah. Anyway, so is that all your works in progress?
I just made this little quilt top. This one, little boy's quilt I'm working on. So, oops.
Cute. Very cute.
Got little frogs on.
Frogs on, yeah.
But it's, I'm making it, do you have a window cleaner? You do, don't you?
No, unfortunately, my window cleaner's retired due to ill health.
Oh, yeah, I like my window cleaner.
I like mine as well, but yeah.
Anyway, he came last week and he was telling me his grandson, he's only 4, he's been taken into hospital with kidney. Well, actually, he's got a tumour on his kidneys.
Oh dear.
He's having chemo at the moment, so I'm just making it for the little boy to have.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's nice to have a project to do for somebody.
Yeah, somebody in mind. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's, anyway. So that's ready for quilting now, to be honest. But simple little make. But I did it as it's quintessential patchwork quilt, isn't it? Sort of.
It is.
Checkerboard body, inner border, outer border, a few cornerstones, and that's it.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Sometimes you need to do little simple things like that, I think. They just tick the box and...
Yeah, exactly. Tick, done. Yeah. So I'm having a bit of a sort out. So I may be doing a bit of a D-stash, actually. So I do have a D-stash Instagram account.
Yes, you do, don't you? Yeah.
I do. So
I'll put that along the bottom for you.
Yeah, I might put some things up there. Because I've got sewing patterns that I know I'm never going to make, and I've never broken into, kind of thing. So it's pointless having them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Get rid of them, clear your conscience, and then you can buy some more.
I did get a whole load of quilting books on a site called Ziffit. Have you heard of Ziffit?
I haven't.
ZIFFIT.com. It's an English company, British company. But you just literally put up the ISBN number, and then it comes up automatically what the book is, and they give you a price, and the price will change. Obviously, it's like a commodity item, so it will change day on day, sort of thing. So I sold quite a few books, some of which I got like 50p for. A couple I got a couple of which I'm surprised about. A couple I got like £9 or £10 for.
Yeah.
But I was going to take him to the charity shop, which I would prefer to have done, but they weren't taking, and I didn't want them in the house. And I thought, you know what, get rid of them, they can go.
Yeah.
So you put the list of books in, they give you a price, you accept, they send you a mailing address, you box it and you send it.
Fantastic. I've got somebody at the door. Hang on 1 second.
I suppose I could carry on speaking, but I won't. I'll wait until she comes back. She's going to take it out anyway. She might not do. I could carry on talking. How do people just talk to camera on their own? So, see, I'm looking at myself here instead of up here at the picture, at the camera. La, 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 la. No. By the way, I am wearing a sew over it vintage tea dress.
Podcasts. We've been watching some interesting podcasts recently.
Oh yeah. I have actually listened to Quilting with Mel G this week.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that don't know, I can't even say her surname, but if you've watched the Great British Bake Off, Mel,
the original.
Yeah, Mel and Sue were the what do you call them? Compares.
Yes, they were like the hosts, weren't they? Sort of.
Yeah. So and Mel is hysterical, but she's just started doing this podcast called Quilting with Mel G, and there's her and Bushy, who's, I believe, a radio presenter. I don't know him. I didn't know him. So but anyway, I was doing a lot of stitch in the ditch work this week on a customer quilt, which means the machine's quiet basically, so I was able to listen to something, and I find it quite relaxing to have something to listen to when I'm doing something like that. So I thought, oh, do you know what? I know it's been out since January, and I intended listening to it. I caught up on all of them this week as well. So I've had quite a media-driven week, really. With well, I've never laughed so much in all my life. It's hilarious.
It is. It's very funny. Yes, it is. It's really well worth the listen.
So I mean, what they're doing there, they're making this quilt by hand using cardboard templates and scissors.
Yep, and it's CPP, isn't it? I think over the
CPP, but they talk about everything, don't they? Sort of thing. They get onto some really interesting topics.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to say any more than that, because you just need to listen. It's hilarious. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's Quilting with Mel G, isn't it? Is that the name of the actual podcast?
That's the name of it. Yes, I think so. And they're on Instagram, and I think you can get it on iTunes. I've been watching Rusty Knits.
Oh, I like Rusty Knits. Yes, I watched the latest one, but I haven't actually commented. I do want to comment because I really, really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So
that's Hampton and Rusty, who I think are in Dallas.
In Texas.
Projects. Are you up for another little challenge?
Is it knitting or is it sewing?
Oh, it's knitting. It's another hat. Are you up for another hat?
Yeah, I can do a hat. Yeah, I like hats.
Okay, so this one is by now I've forgotten the name, but it's I saw this one.
Preparation.
I saw this on the Bearded Pearl. Caleb did a version of this. It's one of the grocery girls. I think is it Jodie? Miss Brown.
Tracey is the blonde one, and Jodie is the brunette.
Jodie. So I think it's one of Jodie's patterns. It's a hat. It's a slip stitch hat. I will put a picture. And it's a DK yarn with a strand of mohair through it with it as well.
Ooh, I don't have any mohair, do you? Oh, I do. I have a purple mohair.
You see, I've got a purple mohair. How odd is that? That's a bit weird. I think I've got, it's all revolves around my stash, you see, and I think I've got a ball of mohair that needs using. So I thought, oh, do you know what? That'll be perfect.
Yeah.
So I think it's a slip stitch hat.
Okay.
And if you have a look at the Bearded Pearl, he's done a lovely version with greens, really nice.
All right, take a look at that.
So have a look at that. So that's our challenge. Tracey, you don't have to do it by Sunday. Wait, on that note, thank you so much for watching. Whoever you are, wherever you are.
Yeah,
With us.
I hope so. Obviously, we need to recognise the fact that some parts of the world are still in lockdown.
Yeah.
If you are, keep safe.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keep out of lockdown, and still keep safe. So it's not over. This thing is not gone. It's not finished. It's not gone. So just keep on doing what you're doing in terms of looking after yourself and being respectful of the people. We are wearing masks in the UK as of next week to go to any retail outlet. I was thinking if you're meeting, you don't need. If you're meeting in a home, you don't need to wear a mask. I don't believe.
Not as far as I know. I think it's just if you're going out
in retail, I think, isn't it? Yeah. So hopefully, things will improve sooner rather than later. But do look after yourselves. So.
Take care. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. And we'll see you next time, hopefully.
The next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.